Today on Riffs, Periods, and Gear, I show you how to use Toontrack Superior Drummer 3 as a songwriting tool. I started using Superior Drummer 2 back in 2010, and over the course of many years and into the current iteration of Superior Drummer 3, it has become its own songwriting tool for me personally when I'm hashing out songs for my band Rest Repose or the shorter demo songs for the YouTube demos on this channel. So I thought I would show you guys a little bit of my process and how I use Superior Drummer for songwriting. So I'm gonna dive right into it, and here is my DAW. I am in PreSonus Studio One, but your DAW does not matter. I wanna emphasize that. You can use whatever DAW you'd like. And for this example, I'm going to use just a very short song, a song that I would maybe use for a YouTube gear demo or something like that, as opposed to a much larger song with defined bridges and choruses and vocals and like a 4-minute song, because this video would be several hours long if that were the case. So I decided we are going to use 3 different riffs, and I will call them Riff 1, Riff 2, and Riff 3. And I provided these files in the description down below if you wanted to follow along. So for me, when I am writing something, since I am a guitar player, the riff is the most important thing in that song. But the second most important thing, and the thing that is going to determine the overall feel of the song, are the drums. And so they kind of work hand in hand, at least for me personally, when I am writing. I'll do a riff, come up with the feel, and that will determine the riff coming out of that and the feel of the drums after that, and so on and so forth. So really, with the drums, you are building a foundation. So here's what I am calling the hook, Riff 1. Okay, that goes for 8 bars. Now the verse section, verse 1 and pre-chorus, they go for 4 bars, half the length. So here is Riff 2. Okay, that's Riff 2. Now here is Riff 3. It's a variation on Riff 2. Okay, we need to get to building a song. Usually I will start with the hook. And what you were seeing, by the way, is I have just DIs and then the reamped guitar track. I call it reamp, but really it's just the line 6 helix, left, right, dry, left, right, wet on each of the 3 riff sections. So I'm gonna open up Superior Drummer, and this is just the kit that I always kind of start with. It's just a basic kit. It's kind of a drum kit that I would play if I was a drummer, I guess. Okay, now in my head, I kind of have a feel for how I want this to go, and I need to find that groove within Superior Drummer 3. Now, I think I want a halftime feel, but maybe I want to pick it up the second 4 measures. I'm not really sure, and we're gonna play around with it. So with that in mind, I'm thinking of the riff, I'm humming it to myself in my head. I have all these options within Superior Drummer 3. On my left, I have all of the groove libraries, and I have a lot of them. Some of these are pretty old, actually. And I could search through them manually. For instance, I could go to Avatar, and I could just sit here and listen to stuff. That's obviously not the right feel. So what I'm gonna do is I could search if I knew kind of the name that I was looking for. Let's try that. Let's see if I can even pinpoint anything that I want. I'm just gonna type halftime kind of a feel, half tempo feel. Let's see. So now that I've searched halftime tempo feel, I am seeing everything under halftime tempo feel. Now, I don't know if this is going to be right, but this is one way to search. Now, all these are a little too fast, and I'm looking for even more of a halftime feel. What I'm going to do to pinpoint it as fast as possible is I'm going to tap in where I want the snare drum, because for me, that's what's most important right now. So I'm just going to tap it in, and I'm going to go to the tap to find feature. I'm going to note that I know I want my snare on the 2 and the 4, I think. So that's what I'm going to start with when I tap that in. So right now with the you'll notice the filters up top, it's filtering according to the tap to find. So it's filtering all of my libraries with that beat. If I want to narrow it down and see what is in the individual libraries applicable to the tap to find that I just tapped in, I'll just simply click on that library. So let's see, what does Avatar have to offer in the beat that I was looking for? Several. Let's see what it says. That was not the feel I was looking for. So I'm gonna go down to Doomcore. Here we go. It's gotta be something in the Doom. Like that. Okay, so maybe that'll work, but I don't like one of the little cymbal hits. So I'm gonna drag this down here. And I'm gonna turn the loop on, and I'm gonna double click this because I'm gonna edit the MIDI right in Superior Drummer 3. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this cymbal, and I want less hits. So I'm gonna turn that down. So total number of hits are 5. I'm gonna turn that down to 0. But since I have the opening hit on, it's still gonna do it for the opening hit. That's pretty much what I was looking for. I'm gonna drag this into my DAW and see how that sounds. So now I'm gonna remove this so it doesn't double play. Just for now, I'm gonna listen to what I have and see how it fits with my riff. I want it to be a little bit more driving. So I want this hit to be more constant. So we're gonna increase the amount of hits. So I'm gonna play it. Okay, so what I did was I increased the velocity a little bit, and I also increased the number of hits, just a little bit. I'm gonna drag this over, and now we're gonna see how that sounds. I like that a lot. So we're gonna leave that just like it is for now because we're in construction mode. We're not worried about guitar tones. We're not worried about anything else, but we're just deciding the beat with which the song is going to kind of groove to, okay? So that second four, the second four measures, I don't know what I want. Maybe I want it to pick up a little bit. So I'm going to exit out of this. And I'm going to clear the MIDI that we just got done editing. Turn the loop off. And maybe I want to tap in kind of a pick-me-up. So let's do that. Okay, let's see how this does. I'm going to clear the browse folder. So now we're back to looking at all of my entire library and seeing what might fit. I want to see what that sounds like. I'm just going to drag that right over without doing anything to it. And let's see how this feels. I like that a lot. When it picks up, I'm actually also thinking at this point, okay, I would actually lay some kind of overdub guitar harmony thing. That's what that makes me think of. So at this point, I might go ahead and lay that down just as a placeholder. I'm not gonna do that right now, but that's what that makes me think of. So we're just gonna leave that for right now. Let's move on to the next riff, shall we? I want it to go into the verse. I already knew that when I wrote the riffs. See, the hardest part about songwriting is knowing what you want. So I want the straight type. We'll see how that goes. That could be cool. I don't know, let's try that. I'm feeling fruity. I kind of like that, actually. That's really cool. I'm going to see how it sounds coming out of riff 1. So I'm going to move these over in my DAW. And I'm just going to see how the riffs jive together. And for right now, we're using these pieced together riffs as placeholders, as building blocks, as sonic Legos to just kind of see where the song is going to take us. So I'm just going to play this and see what we got so far. That's sick. I like that. I love the do. That's cool. I'm gonna fly with it. So let's move on to riff 3. I'm gonna get that over here. Now riff 3 is a variation on riff 1 or riff 2. So riff 3 should pick up a little bit, I think. It should be a beat similar to the second half of riff 1. But maybe not with a ride. So let's see. We're gonna tap that in again. I like tapping to fine, all right? There we go. So I want something maybe on the hi-hats, maybe. So we're gonna go hi-hat open. I'm gonna sort everything by hi-hat open because I know I want that. and I know I want it in 4/4, and we're looking for a straight type and a play style of standard right now. These are the sorting options that we're sorting my entire library with. I mean, that's pretty close already. Let's just see what else is down here, but that pretty much nails it. I'm gonna try that. That's pretty close to what I was looking for, actually. Let's see how this sounds just by itself, and then we're gonna see how it sounds with the rest of the track. Works for me. So I'm gonna move this over. And I know after that, I want to go back into the main riff, the hook of riff 1. So I'm gonna copy that over. Just like that. Move this over. And we're going to play the section of riff 3, going back in to riff 1 and see how that sounds. Now, maybe because it's the second time around, maybe we take out that lift and maybe we keep it halftime the second time around. So I would simply delete that and maybe repeat that. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, so we have riff 1, we have riff 2, riff 3, and then riff 1. So the whole thing sounds like this. There you go. We have basically constructed what I would consider a decent YouTube song. Now, when I go back, so at this point, I would retrack the guitar DIs as one instead of using a bunch of pieced together parts. I would then fluidly track it, and maybe I would add some accents. For example, on this part, I would actually start writing to the drums so they lock a little bit closer together, and maybe there's some accents that the drums are doing that I don't currently have on guitar that I would add, like little palm mutes or little open string things or something like that. They really go hand in hand for me when I'm writing. They really feed off each other. So The drums could determine what the guitars are doing, or the guitars could determine what the drums are doing. There are no right or wrongs in this scenario. I am just trying to write the best that I can, the fastest that I can, because you know what? Time is money, right? I hope you have found this informative. Writing with Superior Drummer 3 is just a wonderful, wonderful tool, and it can get you where you're going faster than you could probably do it manually. Now, I could plot the MIDI points manually in my DAW, but that would take so much time, and I want to be creative. And so Superior Drummer has always really allowed me to be creative in a fast and efficient way. And I like that, and I'm used to it, and that's just kind of the workflow I have developed over many years of doing this repetitively. So I hope you have found that enjoyable and informative, and the files are down below in the description if you want to follow along or play with the files yourself. All applicable links down below in the description. You have been wonderful. I have been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.